Good morning, good afternoon, guys. We're back for another Geek Tavern. As always, it's me, Sean, and I'm joined by Mike.
Hello.
And Aaron. And we have a couple of things to talk about today, so I think I just want to jump right into our first topic, which is the first two episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're actually able to record on a Friday today, so we're not going to be an episode behind when our episode releases, which is exciting. So we get to talk about it relatively around the same time that it releases.
That's right. I didn't think of that.
So I guess we'll just start with the first episode. It starts with an action scene with Sam. He's fighting the Leaper again from the Winter Soldier, and he has to rescue somebody from going into enemy airspace, and then he obviously does, and that's the setup to I think the big bad of our whole series, which is what I forget what they're called already.
The flag.
Oh, flag
The
smashers.
Flag Smashers. Yeah.
It's pretty boring.
I had
not
somebody
gonna lie.
I had somebody on my friends list that they were like, "Oh, first episode's better than the entirety of WandaVision already."
It's an entirely different genre.
And I was just like, "You just shut the fuck up."
It's an entirely different genre.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
No, it's really good.
No, it is good.
It makes me feel like this is just a direct continuation after Civil War and Winter Soldier. You know, those Cap movies that there's a very what's the word I'm looking for? There's a very distinct feel to those movies, and it's a different world set apart from the rest of it, and it really takes you right back in there. It feels like the world the Russo brothers created.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's not like a ton to say other than, the CG is on par with movies.
This is, and I think that's what they are trying to do with it.
Yeah,
is they're trying to make it on par or above where the movies are, because they want it to be standalone, but also part of it. And if it doesn't look like it belongs in that universe, then people are gonna just sort of toss it aside.
Right. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Exactly. Because no one gives a shit about that show anymore.
Not even Kevin Feige.
No.
How many episodes are? It's only like 6 episodes, right?
Yeah. Most of these shows are going to be miniseries, which is nice because, again, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who's going to sit and watch 7 seasons of
that's like
television.
a CW show where it's like 24 episodes a season. And
No, I'm sorry. Six episodes at an hour long apiece. I will gladly watch, enjoy every second of it, and then be done with it.
It's
Move
like
on to the next thing.
It's a slow way. It's almost like getting a movie
in parts.
Don't
drag it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that they're going to excel at is don't drag out these things because it just becomes tedious and nobody gives a shit after a while.
Yeah.
The first episode was pretty long. It was like 50 minutes with
it?
If you shave off the 7
it was
40
minutes
of credits.
and then there's 10 minutes of credits afterwards. Which, don't get me wrong, the credit sequences are cool. I don't want to sit through them for 6 minutes, though.
Yeah, if there's nothing there.
Do you think people are going to be angry that there's no after credit scene for this show too until like the last episode when it's going to have one? People are so weird.
We got spoiled from the movies, and now people just think it's supposed to happen every time.
So after Sam's operation, he goes back to his home in Louisiana, and he has to deal with his sister, who is losing their family business in a crawdad boat, shrimping boat. Yeah. So obviously Sam was gone for the 5 years. I think that Bucky was too.
Spoilers: Sam disappeared in the blip.
Yeah.
They both did, yeah.
Isn't it annoying that they call people disappearing the blip? Like, I know that they don't know that it's the snap, like the snap that made them go away, and the blip. I thought that they would call it the snap, them leaving, and the blip, everybody returning, but
no, it wasn't it?
I mean, they're calling the entire event the blip.
Yeah, they don't use the term snap.
Yeah, they've never used the term snap, and I don't think they will.
I thought, for some reason, I thought that they did in Far From Home, where they said when Thanos snapped away half of existence and then they blipped back.
But the event itself
was known as the blip. Okay, so they did say
they might have said that in that way, but
they regard the whole event,
which is different because they didn't just disappear. They like dusted away.
Yeah.
So, but like everybody showed up all at once.
Yeah, and it leads.
I mean, I guess from WandaVision we see that they kind of dusted back into reality.
They dust back, but Hayward and like everyone who comes in contact with Monica says something weird that's kind of like bothering me slightly, but it might just be just a throwaway line where they're like, "When you were up there for 5 years," and it's like, well,
yeah, right.
Like, what do you mean? Where do you think they went? Like, do you think like that they existed on some other plane?
I did.
What?
I did pick up on that, but then I stopped kind of thinking about
because
it. Because
he said up there, and then somebody else said out in space somewhere, and I was like, what? I was like, wait. I was like, what do you think happened? Like,
yeah, do they think that Thanos just like moved them to a different
planet?
Yeah,
and I'm like, people are really confused about what happened. And granted, I would be too. If one of you just dusted away, I'd be like, huh?
So that's his. I mean, we don't get it in the second episode, but that's like his. We're getting weird themes because people are like treating Sam differently because he's an Avenger, and he refuses to take up the mantle of Captain America, which we see at the end of this first episode is a bad idea because the U.S. government is going to do what they do and trample all over everyone's dreams and put somebody else in that role.
Yeah.
And Bucky is trying to make amends for all of the shitty things he did as he was the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
I thought that scene was great where he had the flashback of killing that one guy that was just like he was a scientist, right?
Yeah.
Just like at a convention and he kills like these guys and then he witnesses his hit, so he kills them and he's trying to make amends with his with that man's dad.
Yeah.
I thought that scene
which
was really
he still can't do. Which we'll get. I'm assuming we'll get that eventually. But he's been hanging around with him for like a year or so now, like trying to do it, but he just can't bring himself to be like, "Hey, I killed your son in Switzerland or wherever they were."
Did you see that? Whenever he scratched out that one senator because he put them there. Whenever he was scratching out the names on his list, that Zemo
is on the list.
Names on his list.
I don't want to like jump too far ahead, but I'm almost certain that like that's going to be part of the scene where we see in the trailer where he drops the bullets in front of Zemo because it's his hand. It's Bucky's hand dropping the bullets. I'm wondering if he doesn't have like the gun to him and then he like just takes the thing out and like drops all the bullets and walks away like, I'm not going to kill you, like that's not me anymore.
Right.
So I don't know, I feel like that's kind of like where his amends with Zemo is going to go, and I don't think that Zemo's going to die. I mean, hopefully not, because Zemo in the comics is a really big character.
They wouldn't let him die at the end of Civil War. I doubt that they'll let him die at the end of this.
Black Panther did not let him die. Which, that would have been stupid if they had killed him off. And I think I said it to you, too, when Civil War came out. I was like, Zemo is a huge Captain America villain. If you were to kill him off, there would be outrage. So, I'm happy to see him again. And with the purple mask. He's going to have the purple mask now.
Yeah. Mask. It's like a cloth mask.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool looking. From the trailer, anyway.
Yeah, he looks like he does in the comics. So, I'm pretty stoked for what comes next in this show. We have John Walker, who plays U.S. Agent, Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son, who are both in the MCU.
Yeah.
We just need Goldie Hawn in the MCU now, and then we got the trifecta. But he starts off like, and his character arc in one episode goes from, "Hey, I'm just trying to do my best to stay out of my way."
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, whoa, he's going.
So from the second episode, I was like, oh, because I've read the comics as have you, so we know that he's the antagonist or antithesis to Captain America at a point. So I was like, because he was acting like a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to, do the best that he can. So I was like, oh, I actually like him a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder whenever he's going to end up being the bad guy. And
it happens.
He's not even a bad guy. He's basically just saying, "Look, I'm gonna get the terrorists. I offered for you to help us out. If you're not going to accept that, then do not interfere with my job.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if it's just going to be like that, like the
their power struggle.
Yeah, they're power struggling the whole season, or if he's going to end up being like a secret agent or something.
I like I said, I like John Walker so far, but like we both know, he is that character.
Yeah.
But I kind of wonder if they're not going to put a spin on it and just kind of be like, they're going to be at odds with him because he is the new Captain America, and there's
clearly a little bit of that already.
Yeah,
but
he's tried so hard though, as we've seen, to like get them on board. Like, hey guys, like if you just want to play ball, like we'll play on a team. And they're like, no. And he's like, okay then
Yeah.
don't come near me. Like, I mean, I get it. He's probably, I understand, like, in this episode, like, we know that he's starting to go down that path, but I think to the normal viewer, they're like, oh yeah, he's just frustrated at this point. Like, I have tried to reason with you, and you guys won't do it.
So, is it implied that he was taking the super serum at this point?
I
don't think so, because he was battling with which that was an amazing action scene in this episode. He was battling those super soldier guys on top of the truck, and that she like bitched him. Like,
I'm wondering
knocked his ass the whole way across the truck.
I'm wondering if that's not why his attitude hasn't changed. Is because he's starting to take the serum, and that's having the, like Erskine said in the first Captain America, it amplifies what is inside that person. So if he's an asshole, he's going to become super asshole.
Right.
So if he's an asshole deep down, that's what's going to come out.
Maybe he has a symbiote on him.
Maybe. It's a good way to introduce it.
Wouldn't that be the weirdest?
Like it would be super.
That would take me right out of it. Yeah, I'd be like, click. Nope.
That would be the worst. But that doesn't happen to Bucky though. Like we know Bucky's inherently, generally a good guy, but like he was subjected to the super soldier serum,
but he wasn't. He was subjected to Hydra's version of it, which was not Erskine's original formula, like Red Skull. Red Skull was given the pure formula, but it just turned him into a super asshole.
Well, yeah, he's a Nazi.
Yeah. So, like, Bucky, I think that's where it changes, is because Bucky wasn't given the true formula. Right. He was given something that was comparable, but...
That just reminded me of the one bait and switch scene from Civil War, where they're like, oh, there's like 6 of you talking to Bucky, and I don't even remember where the base is, so we're going to have to go deal with that. And then that's, obviously, Zemo goes and murders those people.
Well, see, and like, remember I said to you when that scene happened, I was like, really expecting, because there's a great arc called No Escape, which you and I both read. And I thought that that's where they were going to go, was Zemo was going to lure him in, he was going to have to do this huge epic fight with these super soldiers, and then ultimately he and Cap would have had to stop Zemo. But that didn't happen, which I was okay with.
I think it was better how they did it anyway, because it really got to
the core.
It would
have been too much over-the-top action.
It got to the core of Iron Man and the Cap's and Cap's disagreement. Their him trying to save Bucky.
Yeah, and actually, I think if he had fought those super soldiers, it would have been too much.
Yeah.
Because you would have had that big action scene, and then you would have had another big action scene with Cap and Iron Man.
Yeah.
And Bucky. But, like, yeah, it would have been too much. But it is kind of no escape, because he is leading Bucky and Cap right to him where he wants them, which is the whole point of No Escape. He leads them back to the place where they originally went off on the flying drone and crashed into the ocean, and they both froze.
But on top of that, so we learn in this episode that there are more than just Bucky and Cap and those like 6 other super soldiers that they were using during the Cold War.
We meet Isaiah.
Yes. Who? What did he say? He met him in Vietnam, was it?
Korea.
Yeah. So.
And
that's interesting.
He whooped Bucky's ass.
Yeah. That's so funny. He's like, "Oh, I whooped your ass back in the day," and you're like, at that point, you know that there's something up. But then he throws like a an Altoid tin into the fucking raptor.
That's exactly what I was about to bring up, because I was like thinking, okay, we've seen Bucky take on like hundreds of people as the Winter Soldier and come out clean every single time. So I'm like, the only person who ever like really stood a chance against him was Cap.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I whooped his ass, took half his arm off back in Korea. I was like, this guy's a super soldier, because nobody could have done that except for a super soldier.
Yeah.
But like, I'm thinking that, and I'm thinking like, okay, what are they gonna do for the normies who can't put that together? And of course, he throws the container into the wall. It's like you couldn't tell that he was a super soldier from that story. Like
that's another
you
thing
mean to tell me this?
that kind of annoyed me is at the end of this episode where they're like, after Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Cap, Bucky, Jesus Christ, they reconcile with each other and they're like, oh, we'll work it out together. And they're like, oh, well, we can go find somebody. And it's like, when we were talking to Isaiah, he said you people, and he's like, he meant Hydra people. And he's like, okay, well, they're all gone, so what are you going to do? He's like, well, he knew more about Hydra and like Cold War era stuff than anybody. And it's like, you're not just going to sit down and have a chat with him. And he's like, well, I
sit
kind of
down
have
in a
to.
room alone with him.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I wonder who it could be.
Yeah, and then they
like,
literally
"We've
go,
got
we're
it."
going to go see Zemo. And I was
It's
like,
just
you
like-
didn't have to say that. Like, the line that just immediately said it was, you're really going to sit down in a room alone with this guy. I was like, well, we know what happened last time.
Yeah.
Like, we should be able to piece that together.
So I feel like they were like filming that scene, and the director of the episode, like after they did one take, they're like, "Wait, how are they gonna know who they're talking about?" It's like, "Oh, just say it in the next take." And he's like, "We're gonna go see Zemo." It's like, bro.
Literally, the next scene is them going to whatever institute
like-
he's in
like
and
even-
showing him.
Yeah,
It's like,
you couldn't have. You could have just omitted that. Like,
yeah,
and
that
then
line
just
was
and then
completely
just shown
unnecessary.
him.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a better reveal if you're too stupid to know who they were talking
Yeah.
about in the first place. It's like, oh, okay, I guess we'll go talk to him, and then it just like, oh, I wonder who they're talking about, and then it cuts into his cell, and it shows Zemo. They'd be like, oh, it's like so stupid.
Although, of course, there's gonna be like that one normie who's like, I don't know who that is, and it's like, oh well.
Do you think that
Sorry.
them saying Zemo is gonna like have
Yeah.
any different effect
Yeah,
than
like-
literally showing the guy?
Exactly. Yeah.
But this episode has an awesome action scene in Munich where
on I-80.
yeah, on the Autobahn.
It does look like I-80
It
going to
does.
Clearfield.
Yeah.
So they're going. They find out that the Flag Smashers are working outside of Munich, and
Led by Rick Flag.
yeah. So they go and try and find him, and they're like, "Oh, there's a hostage in there." So Bucky gets on, and it's like, "Oh, nope, she's a super soldier
We find
too."
out it's Enfys Nest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they have a huge fight on top of two tractor trailers, which is cool. And then U.S. Agent shows up along with, I forget his superhero name
Battlestar.
already. Battlestar.
Battlestar, because that's like when he's asking him, he's like, what's your name? And he goes, Battlestar. And Bucky goes, Battlestar? And he goes, stop the car. And they just stop the car and he just gets out.
But that scene was awesome. And it
Yeah.
made me like U.S. Agent like even more.
Well,
Yeah.
when he was doing the Good Morning America and they were showing like his highlight reel, I was like, how does this dude not have the super soldier?
Yeah, because he's like
serum?
catching the
He's
shield.
throwing the shield, hitting targets, and like coming back, and he's just like quickly like whipping it back around. I'm like,
Yeah.
how is he doing this?
I like
I'm
the,
sure that's heavy.
Yeah.
Well, no,
I mean,
it's weighs like, it's like
vibranium, so-
plastic.
yeah.
So
Oh,
it's a
is it?
third the weight of steel.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the,
So he can throw it easily, but I mean, you got to have
it's the most
cat-like
OP metal in
reflexes
the
to be
world.
able to like catch
Okay.
that thing again.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
wasn't
because
even
if he
wearing.
misses it, it's going to like
He wasn't even
kill
wearing
him.
the magnetic gauntlet that catches it either. Like, so how is he doing that? I mean, I'm sure it had like the leather wraps, but like, how is he even like catching it like that? I mean,
I don't know.
dude, he deserves to be Captain America if he can do
If
that.
he can
shit.
do that, yeah.
I like the scene when he throws on top of the trucks when he throws the shield
When
and
he
it
comes
hits,
in to save the day.
yeah, and it hits the one guy and then Bucky just goes "Tung," and catches it and then he hands it back to him,
Yeah.
which is like
Instinctive.
I guess, but like his entire like arc in this episode was like confronting Sam, like, why did you give the shield up? Like, what's wrong with you? and he just like he catches the shield, but he gives it back.
I
think that he'd be like, "Well, this is fucking mine now."
I think in that moment though, like
they're fighting.
Well, no, not only that, but like I think just from how used to it he was to like catching the shield and giving it back to Steve, like that was just an instinctive thing just to give him back the shield during battle.
Could have been.
Yeah.
But that was a great scene.
It was.
What was it? Oh yeah, we explained the setup for the next episode. The normie Zemo tease. The scene where there's some race stuff in there too when they go into Baltimore to meet Isaiah because the police roll up on Bucky and Sam and they're gonna arrest Sam, but he's like, "Bro, I'm the Falcon," which is kind of what happened in the first episode when they went to get their loan. He's like, "Do I recognize you from somewhere?" And he's like, "Oh, well, maybe." And he's like, "Oh, I'm the Falcon."
Yeah. He's like, "Do you play for LSU?"
Yeah.
And then he's like,
he's like, "Oh, can I get a selfie?" Yeah. But
sure. Give us the loan.
But so they're gonna arrest Sam, and then Bucky's like, "Do you know who this is?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Wilson."
And then another cop car pulls up, and they're like, "You have a warrant, Mr. Barnes." And he's like, "What?
You missed your court-mandated therapy session." But then I like whenever his therapist comes in and they have a joint therapy session, Sam and Bucky do.
That was a funny scene.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
then it touched to the heart of how Bucky's feeling now, where he's like, "You gave up the shield. Cap's like, Steve gave that to you for a reason, and if he's wrong about you, then he's wrong about me." And Bucky's probably like, I've been a fucking contracted killer for over half my life, so he feels like shit.
Yeah. No, yeah. And, I felt like that was a really good scene to illustrate Bucky's feelings of vulnerability because that has not been touched upon at all in his entire arc. Like, basically, we haven't seen that side of Bucky since the first Avenger. Mm-hmm. Like, before he even went to war. Mm-hmm. Then we're starting to see that Bucky start to come back through. So it's nice to see that Bucky come back.
They mentioned the White Wolf in this one, too, which was kind of weird. Because, like, what was it? It was the end of Black Panther, right? That they called him, they teased that?
They knew he was there because he was...
Well, yeah.
Well, no, that was at the end of Civil War. They took him to Wakanda.
Well, no, I mean, the stinger for Black Panther was them giving him the arm and calling him the
Infinity
White Wolf.
War.
Oh, okay.
Infinity
But
War
either way,
it's
so weird. Like, that's like, I don't know, that just seems weird to me. Like, because he already has a nom de guerre of Winter Soldier. It's weird that he has the White Wolf, too. I guess that's just what Wakandans called him and everything, but I don't know.
The White Devil.
The White Devil, yeah. The White Devil, Bucky Barnes. But yeah, I'm excited for where this is going. I mean,
yes, big fans of it.
I
mean, I'm a huge Captain America fan.
Captain America's storyline has always been my favorite in the MCU, and this is only amplifying that. I mean, it's not Captain America's story anymore, but it has, like, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
It's that same world.
Yeah,
it's
the
same set
feel
of characters.
Too.
Yeah,
like a lot of the different franchises have like a genre to them, and it's definitely in line with like the geopolitical stuff, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. Mike, you got anything else to add on it?
Nothing that you guys haven't said. You guys clearly have the knowledge for this. Like I don't know much about Falcon or Winter Soldier, like aside from the movies, which I forget half the stuff.
I was gonna say we spent like junior and senior year of high school just reading Captain America books.
Yeah. So I just I knew you guys were gonna touch on everything you need to be touched on.
You're welcome.
Yeah. we'll other than attacking me for being a norm.
We're not calling you a normie yet.
We'll see if
I just have a bad memory.
We'll see if we'll have a chance to talk about the rest of these episodes as they come out or not, or if we'll just do an on topic of it after.
I assume we'll do an on topic to recap it all.
We might just be too excited. Recap.
But
they already did that. It's John Walker.
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham is Captain America. They would never let that slide.
I don't know. He's tall enough. He'd be pretty imposing. Especially with the people that Marvel hires to put like weight on people.
Yeah,
he'd be pretty intimidating.
Oh, you mean people with like D-ball and test and any other PED you can think of that they can just shove in their body? That's like I know we brought it up, or maybe we didn't. But like we were talking about how Robert Pattinson refuses to bulk and like lift weights to be Batman, and I'm like, yeah, because he probably doesn't want to do a steroid cycle. He probably doesn't want to damage his body because he's like, I'm not going to be able to like come off a cycle and maybe not want to kill myself after that.
Right.
So I mean, kudos to him for being like, no, a little wary about that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a recommendation for us this week.
We sure did.
We certainly did.
We'll see how this one goes. I recommended the two live action, because it's right now the only two live action movies we have of Mortal Kombat. 1995's just entitled Mortal Kombat, and Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Brought to us by New Line Cinema.
Yes.
Who's not known for making very good action movies. Horror movies, yes.
Their first biggest production was the Ninja Turtles in 1990. One of their biggest, the first one where they made money.
That's right, they did do that, didn't they?
That was
the difference being those movies work.
They do.
The first two.
Yes. Even the third one.
I mean,
we raved about the third one.
But you can listen to that conversation in our previous episode.
Yeah, go back and look that one up.
Yes, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle trilogy, also a recommendation of my own, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yes. So, yes, we're here to talk about Mortal Kombat in all its glory. All my Mortal Kombat merch. There's all the games, obviously, but let's see if this has nothing on it. So the first movie.
You know the name of the game. It's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
We had a recommend. Well, it was your recommendation again. It's basically the same plot as the animated movie.
Yeah, no.
I was just about to say
with
that.
The exception of focusing on. I mean, they did it in the animated movie too, but Liu Kang, Sonya, and Johnny. But they basically just exclude the Scorpion and Sub-Zero stuff.
And obviously, this was first. Their popularity came over time with the games. So like, they weren't even prominent characters at this time. Clearly, they were there, but they weren't as popular. But yeah, I mean, this. We get the basic montage of introducing the characters.
I believe the first scene is Liu Kang having a nightmare, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes, with the meme of Shang Tsung going, "Your soul is mine." Because I watched that and I was like, huh, so that's where that meme comes from.
Yeah. Liu Kang is such a bitch in this movie. Like, I was so confused because he's like, so he goes back to his temple,
right,
and then Raiden shows up and he's like, oh, he's just a beggar, and he's like, oh, I'm a beggar, right? And then he does some electrical shit, and then he's still like, you're not Raiden. It's like, bro, he just used magic powers.
Yeah.
Mike, I have a question.
Okay.
Regarding Raiden.
Yes.
And I brought this up to Sean yesterday upon watching the second one. Raiden is not white, am I correct?
What do you mean?
Like he is of Asian descent, correct, Raiden?
He's always portrayed as a more
like
Western
a Caucasian
man.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Because I complained.
Which is funny because
I was
Raiden,
like, why'd they whitewash Raiden?
Even in the video games, yeah, he's always more,
I mean, Raiden is like an Eastern name, meaning lightning or thunder god.
That's why I was confused. I was like, why is
weird
Raiden
that he is
played
like
by
it is weird, yeah,
I never Caucasian actor? Like, why?
So all of the acting in this is bad.
Oh my god!
Yeah. like I have in my notes here at one part. Jax is hardly in this movie, but
Jax is in the movie for 2 seconds.
Yeah, but he
was
he was exceptionally bad. Like whenever Sonya goes and gets on, I forgot his name.
Boat.
Yeah, the boat. Yeah. And he's like, Sonya, where are you going? I was like, oh bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had the same exact thought. Because I was like, is this where we're going?
I was like, oh,
it's like, whoa.
This is a reference you won't understand, Mike, but I was talking to Aaron about it yesterday. Liu Kang reminds me of Samurai Cop, which is like an like a schlocky 80s action movie.
RLM has actually had him on to review movies with them before.
All right.
Where
I think I've heard of this before.
he wields a katana and he has like long
He's
hair.
the Rambo hair.
Yeah, okay.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on the internet.
Yeah, and Liu Kang's got the same Rambo hair. It's like 80s action stars were like, that's the look. That's it right there.
Yeah.
None of the comedy in this movie worked for me at all.
Oh my god!
Like I told Aaron, there was one joke that I laughed at, and it was after the majority of the first fights, and they're like, "Oh, we have to kill Goro, or else we lose Mortal Kombat." And Johnny accepts that, and Sonya's like, "Oh, you're just gonna kill yourself for this?" He's like, "Well, if I don't do it, then everyone's gonna die." And it's like, "Oh, you're so stubborn and bullheaded or whatever." And he's like, "You forgot extremely attractive." Like, that's the only joke that I laughed at. Everything else, I was just like whenever Liu Kang throws his luggage in the water and he's like, "Good thing I didn't ask him to park the car."
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That actually, like, when I was watching that and he's like, "Good thing I didn't ask him to park the car," I was like, okay, here's where we're going.
I don't know at what point to. I just want to say, first off,
the CGI.
Oh yeah,
also equally terrible.
It's 95. Didn't have a big budget.
Even not big budget. 93 was Jurassic Park, and it was being produced in 91.
Yeah.
So Reptile looked so bad.
Not even PS1 graphics.
No, no, it was like Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
graphics.
Probably even worse than that.
So let me preface. I don't
preface.
Whatever. I can't talk. I don't think I've ever watched them on this Blu-ray.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, it stood out.
I haven't seen it in high definition.
I don't know what quality I watched the first one in, but it was just equally as bad.
Yeah, so there's a scene where it's just Reptile, his statue, and you're like, there's something funky. Obviously you know it's Reptile, but you're like, that is not, that doesn't look right already. And then it's like, keep an eye on Kitana, and then it goes like, and I was like, holy fuck, is that thing awful looking.
And it literally looks like I'll reiterate it when we do the second movie, but I said to Sean, I was like, is this a student film? Because of how bad the CGI was.
I forget who directed the first one, but it was his first movie.
Let's take a look.
I think I remember hearing that.
So the only...
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That explains it. Okay, never mind.
So the only fight...
You're forgiven, Paul. We understand now.
The only fight scene that I actually gave a shit about in this entire movie was Johnny. I mean, Johnny versus Goro was okay, but Johnny versus Scorpion was the only fight that I gave a fuck about.
Yeah.
And Sonya only gets one fight, and then she's just a damsel in distress the rest of the movie.
She finally kills Kano, and then that's it.
Yeah.
She got her, and that was so weird, and off from what I thought was going to happen. I thought that was going to be a big ending thing. And no, she just kills him in the first half hour they're on the island. I was like, oh, well, that paid off for you, I guess. I don't know. Also, this whole movie just reminded me of Balls of Fury. Even Shang Tsung is the guy who's Christopher Walken's right hand.
I've never seen Balls of Fury.
Yeah, the guy who plays Shang Tsung is in the movie, and he is the one who gathers everyone for the tournament.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, Balls of Fury is literally Mortal Kombat about ping pong.
I kind of wonder if they did that on purpose.
Oh, they definitely cast him for that role, because of that.
That seems like it's poking fun there.
Yeah. So, Scorpion dying was hilarious. I was just like, oh my god, because he cuts him 3 times and he's like, and then he just fucking explodes. Holy shit! I was laughing throughout this movie like crazy, and not the way that they did it too.
So,
thought unironically.
This must be one of those things where you have to have grown up with it, because I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, I was sitting and watching this, and I was like, there must be something about this. Because, I mean, obviously I appreciate the Turtles movies much better than this. But I was just watching it, and I knew that they were like, they had a similar feeling. And I was just like, there's just something about this and Mike must just love. Because I was just like, man, this is just...
I mean, like, if you grow up and play the video games with it, and then you watch it, like, as a kid, like, it's going to become nostalgic grip. It's like Godzilla 98 with me.
Yeah.
It's a terrible movie, but I enjoy the shit out of it just because of the nostalgia behind it.
Yeah.
Oh, like Wild Wild West with me.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Wild Wild West.
Although Wild Wild West is a competent feature.
That's true. And the effects are far superior.
The effects are far superior. Oh my god.
Oh, there's one thing else that I thought was absolutely, like, hilarious.
Yeah.
Is Chang Kang.
Chang Kang, yeah.
That's fucking Liu Kang's brother's name is Chang Kang. I was like, wow, that is the most racially insensitive name I think I've ever heard.
I don't think I've ever known that.
I mean, they mention his first name, Chang. I'm assuming that they have the same family name. So, Chang Kang.
Chang Kang.
I was just like, oh my god.
I've never put that together.
What if it's what if Liu is their family name?
So it's Chang Liu? I mean,
Chang
maybe
Liu,
Liu Chang.
Liu Chang, that would be what it was. I mean, that would be different.
Because a lot of Eastern
Liu
names
Kang,
are
Liu
done
Chang.
that way. Yeah.
I don't know.
Either way.
I don't know how that works.
I prefer Chang Kang just because it's hilarious.
Sounds absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, because...
Sounds like something Paul W.S. Anderson.
I don't really know who that
so at this point in the film, I mean, at the time of the making of this film,
yes,
was there like an established lore in the Mortal Kombat games?
Only
because I know that
only in these three you see down here.
Yeah, because I knew that like in the second one was whenever they really started to do lore stuff, and then after that it really became a thing. But
yeah, so I think Mortal Kombat 3 came out around 93. So like Shao Kahn was already established in the video games. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the lore isn't what it is today.
Yeah,
that's
clearly not.
For sure.
No, we got Terminator, Jason, Freddy, RoboCop.
I don't think they're canon. I mean,
What?
they might be. I literally don't know.
They're just playable.
I'm
They're
sure
not
that
really
there's
in the story.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's some YouTuber that has it all down to a
I'm
T.
sure. Wow, I expect you guys to moderately like the first one, but
I'm not saying that I don't like it. Like that it wasn't entertaining. It entertained
I'm
me.
saying I don't like it.
Oh, okay. It entertained me. It just wasn't good.
I thought that Goro looked a lot better than Shiva looked in the second movie.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Like Goro, he looked weird, but he was cool looking still.
You know who that was?
Yeah.
Tom Woodruff Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Kevin Michael
Richards.
Richards.
Voiced by Kevin Michael Richards.
So if you look closely, we'll get there when we get to the second one.
I don't want to look closely.
I thought you were gonna say
I'm sorry.
because the suit resembled like the Turtles suits a lot. I thought you were gonna say like whenever he opens his mouth, you could see the human mouth.
I mean, probably
like in that one scene in the Turtles movie. I think it was the first movie.
Yeah.
Where Donnie opens his mouth and you see like the eyes in the face of the actor inside. It's like, oh my god. But he does. Goro does just like.
Oh yeah.
I think like a million times.
Was there actually a person in that? Because I thought it was like.
No, it was Tom Woodruff Jr.
Okay.
What's the other guy's name? There are two guys who they both like do special effects together.
I don't know.
Alec. Oh, I forget what his name is, but it's like Alec something and Tom Alec. No, maybe Gillis. Gillis might be his last name or something. I don't know. I'll look it up later. But he and Tom Woodruff Jr. do like all the Predator effects, Alien effects, AVP they worked on, The Thing they worked on. They're like huge names in the special effect business, and most of the animatronics and stuff that they build, they wear. So he was playing Goro in the suit. Because they operate it too, so they're like, well, might as well just hop in and play it instead of having somebody else mess around with it.
Okay, yeah. I don't think they did Shiva the same way.
No, they did not.
So anyway.
I don't know.
We're gonna have fun with the second one.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
The soundtrack of this movie is the best part, and it's similar to the second movie, where it's like Mortal Kombat with techno stuff over top of it.
Yeah,
like it is basically just.
I mean, that's where this theme came from. Was the movie? It wasn't used in the video games until Mortal Kombat 11.
Really?
Yep.
I thought that they played that because that was like the game theme.
Nope, never been used in a game until this one.
Wow.
2017.
Yeah,
wow.
That's literally the best part about the movie is the soundtrack.
That might be.
So we have one thing to be grateful for these. Well, the first movie at least.
Wow. I feel like that was like in a contract that Paul W.S. Anderson signed, where he's like, this theme better be used in a video game down the line, and they're like, yeah, sure.
So I mean, clearly the video games have staying power at this point. So I mean, they were probably pretty popular.
Oh, I mean, they were massive. Yeah.
So I'm surprised.
That's why this got greenlit so fast.
I was going to say, I'm surprised it's taking as long as it has to come out with another attempt at a live action.
Well, I think that's
a consequence of the second movie.
That's a consequence of the second movie.
That's totally fair.
The film deserves consequences.
And I guess I'll we want to jump into the second one?
Do we want to rate the first one?
Okay. Do we have to? I know just with every comment it's hilarious because I just look right at you and you're like, shit.
God damn it.
I'll start if you want me to.
Sure.
I give it a hot 3 out of 10.
Do you have anything to add to that?
I think I pretty much summed up my feelings.
Do you have anything to declare? I'm going to second you a 3 out of 10. I don't know. I can't really go lower because I've seen movies that are so much worse.
I mean, the fight scenes are capable enough. The stunts are impressive. They were just tremendously boring to me because we've seen so much more impressive action in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm not gonna take away from the stunt work in this movie because it is impressive, but the shit that we've seen, like now, it just like I've been desensitized to this caliber of fighting.
The world building is very cool in it, but you can really tell, like, this is a movie that you can tell is from the 90s. Mm-hmm. Just from the lighting and everything. Like, it's so 90s that it's, like, not even funny.
I mean, that's part of why I love it.
Like, you could throw this into a DVD player 30 years from now, and somebody would go, was this in the 90s? And yes, it was. You could just tell by the way everything was lit, the way everything was staged, the way everything was framed. And they used that blue light. Mm-hmm. Like, people in the 90s just, like, discovered blue light, and they're like, hey, this is fucking great. Like, and they just started using it everywhere. And I just don't understand. Like, that's one thing that stood out to me is, like, anytime that someone was, like, backlit with blue, I was like, why?
Yeah, it's such a weird...
I'm like, why is that a choice? Why do you do that? But yes, a 3.
So mine is going to be clearly biased. I'm going to go a solid 6 because
I thought you were going to go higher, honestly.
No, I understand that this is not a I think it's at least a good movie. What brings it up to a 6 is nostalgia for me. I mean, this is one of the VHS tapes that I had.
Which, like I said, I totally understand that.
And I can't imagine. I'd probably be you guys if I were to have seen it just now. I get it. Like, I'm not gonna hold it against you, you know. Yeah, I popped this on.
At least this one has a fucking followable story.
Yeah. I was trying to look up the name of the Highlander guy that plays
Christopher Lambert. Yeah. I could have told you that.
Yeah.
Who does not play him in the sequel.
No. So anyway, Lambert, I thought, does a fantastic job. He has some of my favorite lines. Like when he appears on the steps after that one battle in Kano or Goro's lair. He's just like enough or whatever. Like I just think that's epic.
It confused me the way that he portrayed Raiden, because there was like a couple times where I was like, is he a secret bad guy? Like there were some things that he said, like when people would walk away and he'd like say something to himself. I was like, is he gonna turn heel? I'm like he just seems like he's playing both sides here or something. But
yeah, Raiden. I think that's Raiden's character overall. Like he's a good guy.
I always like saw him as just a good guy.
Yeah,
like,
no, he says
very
certain
gray.
things
where I'm like, you okay?
There's a couple times in video game lore which have been rewritten with time travel. Like he's turned bad. He's turned bad.
Oh well.
Like a couple times. So.
He seems very dangerous.
It didn't take much. So.
Mortal Kombat just seems like it's like the WWE of video games.
It is.
Where it's just like, this time Raiden's gonna be a heel.
Yeah.
And Goro's gonna be the fucking baby face.
I don't know about that.
Shao Kahn.
We haven't went that far yet.
Could you imagine Goro coming out and he's like it does The Rock, like the... Can you smell what The Rock is cooking?
That's who should play him in the new movie.
I'm surprised that The Rock isn't a playable character in Mortal Kombat games.
For real. Like, why not?
At this point.
Yeah. Alright, let's get into this one.
You know what? You're gonna hate me.
I know I am.
I was more entertained by this one.
Hey, I don't hate that, because...
I honestly was... Like, and this is supposed to be the bad one.
So this one takes literally like seconds after the ending.
Yeah, it's supposed to. It's very...
Recast literally everybody with the exception of Liu Kang and Kitana. Johnny Cage dies in like the first 10 minutes.
That always pissed me off as a kid. I'm like, not to quote Sonya, but why did Johnny have to die?
That was honestly hilarious. I think I laughed when he just died. I was like, did he just fucking die? Like in the first 5 minutes.
At the ending of the movie, whenever like everything was going back to normal, I thought he was gonna get resurrected.
I thought he was gonna
and then I was like, oh, I guess he's just fucking dead now.
Because Raiden, of course, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Played by Thomas Hayden Church.
Played by, yeah. So, Sean and I were talking about it, and he's like, is that the guy from Pineapple Express? And I was like, which guy? And he's like, the guy at the beginning where he's like, illegal! And I was like, looking at him, and then I Googled it, and I was like, it is. I was like, it's James Remar, who is also mistaken for Thomas Hayden Church all the time.
So this is the first movie I ever saw him in. He pops in, what is it, I think it's Too Fast, Too Furious. He's one of the cops that's after Brian O'Connor.
Oh, I never watched.
I know.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
But I like when this guy pops up. I like him as an actor.
He's a good actor, but it's just such a weird choice to me. The same as...
Christopher Lambert was busy with Highlander 4 or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, it's the same choice as Christopher Lambert. Just like, why? I just don't...
Because Highlander was popular at that time, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they were like, hey, cast Christopher Lambert.
He probably had the long hair already, like...
Oh, yeah.
And plus, hiring him, they were like, hey, we have an actor with some pull, so how about let's get him on
And then
board.
they just, like, botched that by cutting Raiden's hair halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
He's probably like, I'm not doing the wig the whole time. So, like...
Figure out a way to cut his hair. But anyway, I don't know that guy's name. He just said it, but...
James Remar.
Yeah.
We'll edit it in every time that you want to talk about him.
I think he has one of the best, maybe not the best, but he has a great voice for acting.
Yeah.
He also sounds like Thomas Hayden Church.
He does.
Okay.
Remarkably like
Sandman. That's who we're talking about.
Okay.
Doesn't he look and sound like him? Now that you think about it?
I'd have to look at them side by side. I don't know about looks.
You might not be able to tell them apart if we stick them side by side.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. So Johnny dies. Shao Kahn's doing some bullshittery.
As he likes to do.
Yeah, as he he does very often. Always trying to get away, or find a back way to get around the Mortal Kombat tournament. It's funny, this has nothing to do with any tournaments.
Yeah.
They break the rules.
Yeah, he just literally begs Daddy, the Elder God, to break the rules.
He's an famous, like a really famous guy.
I looked him up. No, I looked him up because I thought
he looks
was.
so familiar.
Yeah, he does, and I can't pinpoint who
Harvey
it is.
Keitel.
Well, kind of, yeah.
He looks like from Little Nicky.
Yeah, he looks like Harvey Keitel and Little Nicky. But like because I remember I made that joke when he walked on screen and he like said something. I was like, Harvey Keitel. But I looked him up and he doesn't have any credits that I would.
Really?
He's a French actor.
Oh.
So I don't know.
I always thought he looked familiar from something.
Oh, he does.
But...
Because like I thought the same thing. I was like, I know that guy. And
yeah.
I looked him up. I was like, I don't actually.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I guess he is Shinnok. I don't know if they ever say his name.
They do.
Do they? So anyway,
this is kind of like just a bunch of like set pieces after one another.
Yeah.
Like Sonya goes and frees Jack. I don't even remember what prompted this, but she goes and frees Jax.
They basically have to rally the troops.
Was that all?
She gets dropped through a portal to that medical facility.
Let's talk about those portals first.
Oh my god.
The wind tunnels.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The giant hamster ball.
Yes.
Yeah. Wasn't that shit ridiculous?
I was like, even when I was a kid, I was like, what? Like,
it's literally the Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so
even before we get there, first fight scene.
Why is Scorpion back again? Scorpion and Sub-Zero back.
He's
Sub-Zero
undead.
comes back for one scene. I just realized they never see him again. I know it's his brother.
Okay.
But it's just
but
like
he comes back for one scene and is never seen again.
Yeah. Well, like what the fuck?
So I can explain his cameo.
Was he Lone Wolf or Midnight Wolf or Night Wolf?
Night Wolf.
No,
Night Ranger.
No. He
Sister Christian. I don't
know. So in the third Mortal Kombat over there on the Sega Genesis, it was that Sub-Zero, the brother,
with the scar on his
with the scar on his. So basically, that was fan service.
Okay.
Because he was in the third game.
Did we ever see Scorpion again after that?
No, he steals Katana and then he's just gone.
Suckers!
Because then I was like, I thought that Rain, whenever Shao Kahn killed Rain, I thought that was Scorpion.
Yeah,
but it was,
so did I.
But it was just another person that looks identical to Scorpion.
Yes.
And then Scorpion was never seen again.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It was like, hey, we got to put Scorpion in here somewhere. Let's make him show.
I mean, that just seemed like what the whole movie was. It's like, put these characters in the movie, like Jade and, like you said, Night Wolf or whatever the hell his name is.
Yep. All of those being Game 3 characters. That's essentially.
Did it come out around this time? Like, is that why they were?
No, three. I think was. I don't want to be like wrong on this stuff. Yeah, I don't know if it'll say a copyright on it or not.
It does. 1995.
Okay, so that was around
2 years after.
I mean, that might have been the printing of that one.
Yeah,
but I think it was 93, 94. It initially came out. So I mean, that was 4 years before this movie. This was 97.
So they were just kind of plugging at that.
So basically, at this point, they were like, "Hey, there's all these new characters or newer, like, Shiva and
and the man.
Rain wasn't even a character yet, so I don't know why he was in there.
Wow.
Smoke
was a secret unlockable character in the third one.
And I don't remember the centaur's name.
Montaro.
Yeah, Montaro.
Hamtaro.
With human front feet.
Yeah, with human legs as his front legs. That bothered me so. Actually, no. What was funny was when they first showed him, and Sean and I were just kind of laughing at their designs. I was like, "Oh, Dave Grohl's here." Because he looked like Dave Grohl as the devil.
So the action in this movie was crazy. There was the one scene where, like, I think it was the Scorpion and Liu Kang fight because they like do like a.
It was like it was a weird like rotation.
We're like, what
in
the
air,
fuck?
Yeah.
We're surprised.
It was like a backflip bicycle kick.
Yeah,
it was so weird.
We were surprised that he didn't do his bicycle kick in this one because he did it at the end of the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was straight fan service in that one.
Same thing with Johnny Cage's nut punch.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But So it's funny because Sonya actually gets more than just one fight in this movie. But it's still kind of shit.
Yeah, she gets the mud wrestle with Melina.
Yeah.
And then they fight a horrible CGI, like obelisk demon.
Yeah, I never understood what those are really.
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
Like they're just something that they made for this.
There's one in Shao Kahn's lair that eats a guy.
Yeah,
and then
in the burps.
Yeah.
That's quintessential 90s.
Yeah, nothing's more 90s than burping.
Gross out humor.
Yeah. So I think the worst costume in this movie is Baraka.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in it. Yeah, he looked bad.
Yeah.
Did you guys
catch like a synthetic mask over?
Did you guys catch the pretty noticeable? People catch it pretty easily. When Baraka dies because he gets thrown into the fire ring. It's not even Baraka. It's the rain cut again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not even Baraka's body. It's just
rain. I thought it looked similar, and I was like, no, there's no way to just reuse that shot.
Yeah, it's the same shot.
Yeah, wow.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's
considering the production value of the rest of this
there might
movie,
be a third.
There's another scene where it's after Raiden's fight with like the normie guys, and then he comes out and it's like, oh, how'd you take down Lady or Queen? I don't remember. Sindel. And it's like, oh, Jade stabbed her in the back, and it's like, well, it would have been nice to fucking see that.
Yeah, because I literally said that because Jade goes, I finished her off after, and I was like, would have been nice to have seen that.
Yeah, it's like,
isn't she the big one you're trying to take down?
We just gotta move up.
You know what? Move along. Did we not see that because she was in cahoots with?
We didn't see it because it would have cost too much money to film that.
Yeah, but Jade is.
But you find out that Jade is actually part of Shao Kahn.
So I don't think Sindel's actually knocked out.
Yeah, but Jax and Sonya were both there, so they would have seen it too.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would have been fooling us as well as them.
True.
But we just get told it, and then it ends up not being true anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, so the end part of this movie where Liu Kang turns into the dragon, right? In this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
The animality.
Oh, boy, does he turn into the dragon.
Oh, right, yeah, that's Nightwolf's whole thing.
The only reason he's even in the movie.
Yeah, literally. Which I thought...
And then Liu Kang just wakes up in the middle of the winter wasteland and Jade standing there like, what the fuck is
I didn't understand that whole dream sequence.
I mean, that like actually happened though. Like he woke up and Nightwolf was gone and Jade was there.
Yeah.
Like what happened?
I don't know.
Like I said, it's just a bunch of disjointed scenes to like introduce different characters. It makes no sense.
I think Nightwolf's one of the better looking characters. Like he looks like he does.
Yeah, and he looked good. He looked good actually.
But when the animality thing, like it was cool back then, but even back then I was like, yeah, this is weird. Like for live action, you know what I mean?
Oh, it looks
like the way that his like claw like goes whenever he's like. You could tell that, like, whatever, like, obviously, motion tracking wasn't a thing back then, but, like, whoever was animating it was, like, so bad. And he's like, not bad, but not good enough. And then fucking Shotgun transforms into a Hydra or whatever.
Like a fucking graboid Hydra.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that, like, typical of his character?
Yeah, that was his animality. Was a three-headed whatever.
Like,
so weird.
Like
they all have their own. I mean, obviously, we don't
Scorpion's a scorpion.
Yes.
I know I've said this before, but like I said to Sean when we were watching the second one, I was like, this is why those movies only really work when animated. I was like, you can do shit like that in animation. I was like, you can't make somebody a dragon in the late 90s and make it look even semi-passable.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to hear any excuses for the CGI in this movie because Godzilla came out the very next year and it looked leagues better than what that looked like.
Yeah.
So the animality thing is just another shoehorn thing in.
Yeah.
Just
it was just
because it's just a gimmick from one of the other games.
Yeah. It's it's like your fatalities. It's a finishing.
So
move.
Like there's been the fatalities, the animalities, the babalities, and brutalities and things like that. But they don't keep those like in the newer games? Do they like? Is there like a special?
Babe-alities came back in this one.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, this stuff's still there.
Like
animalities that haven't been in a while.
I feel like they should keep like building upon it. Like you could like unlock them just by random like key combos, but it's just like it's literally a gimmick.
Oh yeah,
and then it's just like, oh well, we gotta put it in this movie, and it looks like dog shit.
Yeah, honestly,
it looks so bad.
When adapting to a movie, that stuff shouldn't be adapted to because it's just funny things that the game
it's
developers.
Literally a joke.
Yeah,
and then it's like, oh, that's gonna be the climax of our movie.
Yeah, like, or it's not babe-alities, it's friendships came back in this one. So, like Rambo's, for instance, is really funny. It's he gets a laser tag gun, and he's like falling behind these like bubble or blow up barriers. It's just really funny.
See,
it's nonsense, but
and that's the other thing with this movie is like Liu Kang just like started to like realize his true power at the end of the last movie, and like you said, this takes place seconds after it, and I'm like, hold on, how about we take like a year off and Liu Kang like studies more of his powers and everything and trains harder. I'm like, no, we just start right from where we left off, and then
he immediately loses all of his confidence.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, no fucking wonder, because he was just like, oh, I just used these once, and now I have to save literally the world.
Which those scenes were great with, like, the Eiffel Tower, like, coming in. And
the Eiffel Tower, the Twin Towers, the Empire State Building just popping up. Like, it was like a canyon on, like, Outworld, and it was just, like, popping, like, up through, and they're badly CGI'd, like, renderings. I was like, oh my god.
I don't know. I always like that part, but I understand it don't look great. But
this one is also not good. But
and Jax learns that his real muscles are better than his robot arms.
Yeah, that was another thing. Is why were there cybernetics over his arms? Because he takes them off. I thought they were actually like.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on what storyline.
Because like in the animated version, he got his arms ripped off, so obviously he was gonna come back with robot arms.
I think that's how it was originally, and then
did they think that was gonna be too gory for kids?
Yeah, I think that might have originated. There was a cartoon in the '90s, and I think it was just an enhancement. I could be totally wrong on that. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I mean, I think that's why in this one it was enhanced. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess.
Sure. Let's roll with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Why? If we could have wind tunnels with hamster balls, we can have...
Yeah. Same guy who thought of those thought that over-the-arm cybernetics were a good idea.
So one of my favorite characters to have pop up in this has always been Cyrax, where they find Jax, the yellow robot ninja.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I always liked that scene.
Yeah, he was neat.
Yeah.
It was a very colorful scene.
He shoots a bunch of beads or magnets at him or something.
Yeah, he shoots beads that like eat away at flesh or something.
Yeah, it's acid, I think, is what's
and then like they attach to his arm, but they don't.
He just goes.
Yeah, and he just like shakes it.
Yeah. So what? Yeah, his special move is like in the game, it's very much more acidic looking. But it's like a web.
I was gonna say that looked awful.
Yeah, no,
I thought they were like nanobots that like ate away at, like the skin, because that's what they looked like.
Yeah,
it was animated very bad. This is like, I'm gonna give credit to Sci-Fi right now, because Sci-Fi could make a better looking original movie today than what this looks like, and they make awful stuff.
This does remind me a lot of some bad sci-fi movies. I don't know any by name, but I remember turning some of them on before, and
yeah, they.
It is at that level. I have an appreciation for it again because I grew up with it, but this one I definitely take with a grain of salt and understand that it's not good.
So
it is kind of more entertaining, but I don't know.
Yeah. So we could hop into ratings with this one. I fear/feel we could hop into ratings with this one. I feel like I've said everything that I wanted to say about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what to rate it. Because, I don't know, 2 out of 10. I was like, I kind of liked it better, but no. Thinking about it now. Like, I don't know. The first one's just kind of boring. But this one, I don't know.
This one at least was exciting.
And it was hilarious.
Yeah, because I felt like parts of this one were at least kept me engaged in what was going on. But whereas in the original, like, there would be really slow parts where I'm like, I don't care. Like, I didn't care about like half of what was going on in the first one. Because honestly, it, like we brought up at the beginning, it felt like the animated version, which I was like, I've seen this, I know the plot. Like, it just felt like it was kind of rehashing that. For me, even though this one came first, it was kind of like rehashing it, and I was like, okay, I know what's going to happen. Like, we don't need to continue this. Yeah. So it kind of bored me a little bit. I'd probably go... I'm going to stick with a 3. Yeah. I was more entertained with this one than I was with the first one, but I'm not going to give it any higher or lower rating. I'm going to stick them both at a 3.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go just a little bit higher just because I do have, like I said, an appreciation for this one, or nostalgia glasses, whatever. I'm going to go 4 out of 10. It's not good, but I'll pop it in every once in a while.
No, I don't think I'll ever watch this movie again. I don't think I'll ever watch either of them.
I was going to say, I think that goes for both of them.
Well, there you have it. We have another recommendation coming for us.
It's me.
It is your turn.
Okay. Yeah, I did a lot of thinking about this one. And by that I mean like all of 10 minutes worth of thinking. As a culmination of events that have happened with these movies and movies I've watched recently, and including Falcon and the Winter Soldier. My suggestion, I'm only doing one movie. We could do both of them, but I'm only doing the one. We're going to watch Escape from New York, starring Kurt Russell from 1981. John Carpenter's Escape from New York.
All right.
There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed our talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as well as the 2 Mortal Kombat movies. If you don't want to be spoiled for Escape from New York, possibly Escape from LA, for next time, make sure to watch it. We will have a spoiler discussion about them. And thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And we will catch you guys next time. Get over here,
suckers!